What's good, everyone? It's Georgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and we're finally back with a brand new wrestling pay-per-view review for the channel. I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these. You know, these WWE pay-per-views, they take a lot out of you, man, for real. Like, they're like 4 hours long, dude. And then, like, on a Sunday night, after, being with my family and, like, visiting my grandma and everything, and then you watch these and they just, I tell you. And this review is for the WWE Hell in a Cell 2018 pay-per-view, which was tonight. I'm recording this at literally midnight because I'm finally settled in. I got all my thoughts together. I had time to pretty much process every single thing that has happened with that pay-per-view, and it literally was all over the place, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, and for anyone who likes wrestling, I'm pretty sure, if you grew up in the 90s and stuff, you remember all the old Hell in the Cells and stuff. And personally, I don't see any the current WWE matches, like Hell in a Cell matches, topping the old ones, simply because those were just epic and brutal, bloodshed all over the place. That was the real shit. But honestly, I would say there was a total of, I believe, 2 Hell in a Cell matches for this pay-per-view. One was Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy, and then you had the Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. And boy, oh boy, do I got something to tell you guys about that doggone match. Anyways, we're gonna talk about them in order. I'm basically just gonna tell you what I like, what was good about the pay-per-view in my opinion, and what I didn't like about the pay-per-view. I don't want to keep y'all too long because I know people have stuff to do. But hey, maybe you can listen to this while you're on your way to work, or if you're working out, or whatever the hell it is that you do. But hey, I'm just gonna share my opinions, and I have the list of matches, and in total there were 7 matches on this pay-per-view, and basically it felt like a 4-hour pay-per-view. I think because they have both Raw and SmackDown rosters on there and everything. So anyways, the pay-per-view starts off with a bang. No pun intended, Diamond Dallas Page. I know you like to throw the diamond cutting on people. But the first match was, believe it or not, a Hell in a Cell match. Like, this is the first time, I think, out of all the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views that they've had, that the Hell in a Cell match actually opens up the show. Like, you really don't see that normally. Those be like in the main event, But there was a total of 2 Hell in a Cells. The first match was Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy, and oh my goodness, y'all, Randy Orton, he really showed how vicious he can be as a heel, which, for those who probably don't know what a heel is, that's a bad guy character. Every TV show, every action live TV show that you watch, they have those same kind of characters. But anyways, in terms of wrestling, man, this version of Randy Orton, he went to a low beyond lows, especially for today's WWE wrestling. That's pretty far. He was brutal. He beat the hell out of Jeff Hardy, man. Like, Jeff Hardy, he's gonna do some crazy shit. That's just how he is. He pulled out ladders. He tried to use some of the ladders and stuff on Randy Orton, but you could just tell that when he pulls out a ladder or a table, he's gonna be the one that goes through it. It's to the point now. It's ridiculous. Jeff Hardy's basically like Mick Foley. Randy Orton, that was a really, really sick spot in this match that if you saw it, you would just literally cringe. Man, I don't even know if I want to describe it, but basically he used a screwdriver, he stuck it in Jeff Hardy's ear and he turned it. I was like, dude, I didn't think that they would go that far, but they did. And, you know, Randy Orton, he brutalized Jeff Hardy with the steel chair. Then he did this kind of front suplex move that sent Jeff Hardy, through an upside down ladder outside the ring. I'm just going over some of the crazy spots that I thought were cool, but also very brutal. And boy, it was crazy. So yeah, you know, man, and then, you know, Jeff Hardy, he started finally fighting back. He was beating the crap out of Randy Orton with that steel chair. Then once he hit him with one of them, you know, he hit him with the twist of fate, or as they call it, the twist of hate. Dropped Randy Orton. It kind of looked like a little Stone Cold Stunner in a way, because Randy Orton, I guess he didn't fall down with it. So once Randy Orton went down, then Jeff Hardy gets another steel chair. He puts it where the hard end of the steel chair is. Like, there's a flat end, and then there's that other part of the other side of the steel chair where they have it, like, it's really rough. So basically, Jeff Hardy does a swanton bomb on the steel chair, and you know, this is another nasty part of the match, because I think the end of the steel chair got stuck in Randy Orton's leg. I was like, dude, man, people can say what they want to say about wrestlers, but they have to be, they're some of the toughest people you will ever meet, I'm telling you, because the fact they went through all of this hell just to, you know, put on a good match and still keep going, you know, that's just crazy in itself. You know, you can't hate on that. But so Jeff Hardy, he had the match won, but you know Jeff Hardy, he's gonna try to jump off of something crazy. So he says Randy Orton on top of a table. Finally, he gets two ladders, and I think he was gonna do the little split ladder leg drop move that he's famous for. But you know what? The ladder was like too close to the top of the cell, so Jeff Hardy goes swinging from it like a gymnastics person, and basically he took way too long. He was taunting the crowd, and he could have did what he had to do, but obviously you knew Jeff was gonna go through that table, and boy, did he fall through it. It was crazy. Wow, I just man, poor Jeff Hardy ought to be dead after that. Seriously, man. And you know another crazy part about that match was, you know, the ref would not count. He would not do the counts, and the match was still going on. Randy Orton was clearly saying, "Hey, go ahead and count him," and the ref acted like he didn't want to do it. I was like, man, they had such a noob ref in there. And don't even get me started. That's just the beginning. There's another certain referee on here tonight that really just had no business being in the match. But I will get to that. So, basically, Randy Orton won because Jeff Hardy did some stupid, crazy move. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, that match right there gives an A+. In my opinion, that was the best match of the night. You know, that was crazy. Then, you know, you had Charlotte and Becky Lynch for the women's title, the SmackDown women's title. I really liked this match. It was pretty fast-paced. Becky looked great. Charlotte did too. You know, man, Becky was such a savage. You know, she took what Charlotte had, and she still came back with her own little clever moves. And I really liked how she beat Charlotte. Charlotte basically did a spear move, but Becky did a clever counter, and it was like a schoolboy type move, and she got the pin. And it was just crazy, man. I'm glad that WWE listened to the fans and made Becky Lynch the women's champion, because you could tell, like, this match, everybody was cheering for Becky. When she won the championship, the crowd just erupted. It was insane, you know. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was pretty good. It was better than the Raw match, the Raw women's title match. You know what? Might as well talk about it since I'm already on the subject of the women's division, I might as well talk about it. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all though, man. I don't know. It's like some of the women on the WWE roster, they wrestle so sloppy. Some of the moves just don't even look right. And the Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey matchup definitely proved that. I know Ronda Rousey's still learning, but at the same time, the matches that she had put on with Nia Jax were so much more better quality. Even the match that she put on with she was teaming with Kurt Angle, versus Triple H and Stephanie. That was a great quality match. But I don't know. I just think Alexa Bliss, I don't know if it's her or whatever, but the match she had with Nia Jax, it was horrible. Then this match with Ronda Rousey, the selling that, both of them. Now, Ronda, she's getting better. She is getting better. She's learning. But a lot of the moves that, like I said, that connected, they just didn't. They look very sloppy, very poor. This match literally dragged. Then you had Mickie James and Alicia Fox, them out there. They had no damn business being out there. That the ref should have got rid of them when Ronda Rousey had took both of them down. But nah, they had to be out there. I guess so they can give them something to do. I don't know what the hell Alicia Fox had on. I was just like, man. I think she's just there. They brought her back to help some of the younger women, help get them over. You didn't even have the Riot Squad on the show either. I don't know if they were on the pre-show of the pay-per-view or not. I didn't watch the pre-show because that would have been like 5 hours of WWE wrestling, and I simply cannot do that. 4 hours is pushing it, really. I can handle a 3-hour wrestling pay-per-view, but 4 hours is ridiculous. But yeah, basically, I'm glad Ronda Rousey did win the match. I don't ever want to see her in Alexa fight again. That they just don't have no good chemistry whatsoever, and I'm so afraid of this match that I've been hearing about, Ronda Rousey facing Nikki Bella at the WWE Women's Evolution pay-per-view, which, as everybody knows, the first ever WWE Women's pay-per-view. Is not the first ever women's pay-per-view, it's the first ever WWE Women's pay-per-view. Just had to clarify that because some people may be thinking this is the first time this has ever been done, and it hasn't. But yeah, I don't want to see that shit again. And you think that match was like sloppy with the women wrestling? Oh, it gets worse. Trust me. But that was just the women's title matches. I went on and got them out the way. Charlotte and Becky definitely had the better women's title match of this card. So we're gonna move on to the second best. Well, actually, you know what? Becky and Charlotte was the second best match. So, and another great best match was the Raw Tag Team Title match featuring, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. You know what, guys? Before I even talk about this match, you notice, like, during the pay-per-view, for those that watch, they started advertising the Australia show, and they already had, like, the thing that shows that, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler were still the champions, and they were teaming up with Braun versus The Shield. So, and it basically, I think WWE, I don't know if they realized it or not, I don't even know if anyone picked up on this, but I think they spoiled the show. I mean, they spoiled the outcomes of the matches. Because, if they're already advertising them as champion for another event, especially a big pay-per-view like the Australia show, you can pretty much guarantee that the title, it doesn't change. Sometimes they pull a surprise, but most times, if they're doing that, that means the title doesn't change for whoever has the belts. And basically, y'all, there really was no title changes in this match with the Raw Tag Team titles and with the main event, which I'm gonna get into. But dude, that Raw Tag Team titles match was really dope. It was that classic tag team wrestling that, you know, a lot of us wrestling fans grew up on. You know, Dolph Ziggler, he showed how great of an in-ring general he is. Drew McIntyre showed how much he's learned since he's left the WWE. He's so well polished in the ring. Dean Ambrose was real good. He was hitting them ropes fast. The guy is a maniac in a good way. Wow, dude. I can't say enough good things about that match. Definitely watch that one. In fact, you know, just watch the first 3 matches of this whole pay-per-view, because in my opinion, that's how good the show was gonna get. And they totally killed it, you know, in that tag team title match, you know. And then I love the way that Drew McIntyre came in there and saved Dolph Ziggler from eating a devastating suplex combo from Seth Rollins. He hit that Claymore kick and he knocked the crap out of Seth Rollins for Ziggler to get the pinfall. It was perfect. It literally was magic with those guys. Then we got, in my opinion, we got the 4th best match of the card. And it was dope, man. The AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe WWE title match. It had drama, it had realism. AJ sold really well for Samoa Joe. We saw Samoa Joe basically at his best. You know, he was doing suicide dives through the mid-rope with, like he was Superman, like he was a cruiserweight. We got a little bloodshed here and there from AJ Styles, man. He took a beating, but he definitely dished it out in that match. He pretty much hit all of his signature moves. He brought it to Samoa Joe. He even showed how strong he is, because he picked Samoa Joe up for this rack attack type bomb. Like, he picked him up over his shoulder and he spun him around. He dropped him on his back. And I was like, wow, y'all. It shows that AJ Styles may not look like he's super strong, but the guy is very strong to be able to pick Samoa Joe up like that. Man, it was something else. And then, of course, Joe was able to come back and counter. And he got AJ Styles in that Coquina clutch move, and basically AJ was able to reverse it and pull him down to one of those little roll-up type pins, but Joe still had the hold on him, and the ref counted 1, 2, 3 because Samoa Joe back was on the mat. But if at another angle, AJ clearly tapped at the 3 count. So, yeah, it was a lot of controversy there for sure. Man. So basically, they're gonna have another rematch. This time, I think it's gonna be a no disqualification. It might be a submission match. I was thinking something like that. It probably be at their Australia show that's coming up in October, I believe. So they're gonna do it in 3 weeks, because Paige basically confronted, or Samoa Joe actually confronted Paige about this, and rightfully so. So you can tell that this match that they're gonna be having at the Australia show is gonna be real dope. I really liked the match. It had everything that I could want in a WWE title match. I was surprised that it wasn't inside the Hell in a Cell, because I thought that they was gonna have that WWE title match in the Hell in a Cell, but I was wrong. I think it would have added something else to it, and they probably could have rivaled. They probably could have, at least tried to put on a just as good as match as Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. But I didn't see no match on this card topping the Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy match, just to be honest. So basically, after the AJ Styles match, I think that's where the show peaked, because from there this show definitely went downhill. We're gonna talk about the Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus Miz and Maurice. Just, that match, you could tell they was just going through the motions. They was literally just going through the motions. They was basically doing all their signature moves. It felt sloppy when Brie was in there. Maurice, she pretty much was not in that match the whole time. Like, a good majority of the match, Maurice was not present. She would do little things to distract, Daniel Bryan and everything. And then, of course, the Miz was doing his typical heel work. He was really good. But it just felt really sloppy to me. It really did. Like, it's like, yeah, they were just going through it pretty much. I know Brie hasn't been wrestling that long, but man, dude, I don't know. I guess I didn't have super high expectations for this match. I wanted to at least be decent, and it was like blah, It really was. And the 4 matches I just talked about before, I'm giving them all A pluses, simply because they were great. Everything, check those out. But this Daniel Bryan and this next tag match, I'm trying to see. I know there's people that's fans of them and all of that, but the match just did not live up to what it was hyping up to be. So I'm gonna go with a D. I'm just gonna go with a D. It was fucking bad. Maybe an F, who knows? But I've already talked about the Ronda Rousey match. That match straight up getting an L from me. I don't care. It could have been better. It really could have been better. I just did not like that. So fuck it. But now let's talk about the main event, because this is going on a little bit longer than expected, but I really want to share the good, the bad, and the ugly and all of that, and we're gonna get to the really craziness of this whole thing. And it was the Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman Universal title match inside the Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley as the guest referee. For one, I think WWE dropped the ball with this one. For one, like, you could just tell, like, they were stalling for something big in this match. And of course they did, because you had interference from Drew McIntyre and I was like, really? Then they was fighting on top of the cell doing some crazy shit. But I'm gonna get to that one. But anyways, like, inside the main match itself, Roman basically was doing a bunch of Superman punches. Braun hit him with some steel chairs. I mean, not steel chairs, but steel steps. They barely used the steel chair in this match. Roman, once he had Braun down, outside the ring or whatever, I guess he had hit him with some weapon of some kind. I think he hit him with a kendo stick or whatever, But Roman, he gonna go around there and try to do a spear, but Braun had countered him and threw his ass to the cell wall or whatever. I just didn't like that. For one, it's just like, man, you could just tell there was something missing there. And then when you had Drew McIntyre them interfere, they basically focused on them for the good majority of the match. Roman, he had speared Braun Strowman into this table, so they laid there for what I believe 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. It seemed like they laid there the rest of the match. We didn't really see no involvement from Mick Foley. Normally, Mick Foley would get involved in one of these Hell in a Cell matches, and he didn't. We didn't see any of that. And I was like, man, that is crazy. They did not focus enough on the in-ring action between Braun and Roman. Obviously, this all set up for Brock Lesnar come out there, and that was a huge surprise. Wasn't expecting him to come through. That dude came in, kicked the cell door down, just like Kane when Kane first debuted in the 1997 first ever Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker, which you guys need to watch that one. That's like, that one doesn't get talked about enough. Everybody always talk about the Mick Foley and Undertaker Hell in a Cell match, and while it was epic, you have to go back and watch the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker Hell in a Cell match, because it really told a story. Shawn Michaels had nowhere to run. It was just, he was in there with the Undertaker. Undertaker just ran the town on him. You know, but I just expected more action between, you know, Braun and Roman. I think it could have been way better. You know, they had too many outside interferences, and then Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, they gonna do this old crazy useless fall off the Hell in a Cell through 2 tables, and it's like we've seen that stuff already. You know, I guess, you know, they're running out of ideas, but my personal opinion is some of these matches doesn't live up to the name Hell in a Cell and what this pay-per-view is, in my opinion. And while it was cool to see Brock, he came in there and he beat the crap out of Roman and Braun with the table pieces. He smashed the doggone, I think he used the cell door too on him. You know, he just caused just reckless abandon upon everybody. You know, and I thought that, you know, he was gonna I thought that maybe Roman was gonna kind of pull his arm over Braun and get the 1, 2, 3, or maybe McIntyre was gonna come back in, but we didn't even see him and Dean Ambrose anymore. I guess they were still up there, probably just laying down, looking down at the match to see what the ending was, because we didn't see them two no more. And I think it would have been cool, like, if Drew McIntyre made himself back into the ring and then helped pull, you know, Braun arm over Roman to get the 1, 2, 3. But they ended up ringing the bell, ending it in a DQ, and that's how the pay-per-view went off. And I was like, man, yeah. But basically, that pay-per-view just was something else. It peaked, like I said, with the AJ Styles and Samoa Joe match. That was the last great match of the whole pay-per-view. After that, it just went to shits. You know, it really did. Overall, though, because they had 4 matches that I really enjoy, I give this pay-per-view a C+. You know, I know that's kind of crazy. It's just my honest opinion. I don't really like to do number grades for reviews because, you know, I find those a little bit difficult sometimes. But if I had to give it one, maybe a 9, maybe a 7.9 out of 10, probably, maybe an 8. But in terms of letter grades, I'm giving it a C+. You know, it could be a B-, I guess, because like you said, like I said, you know, you have 4 really good matches, but then when you see the women, how some of them were wrestling, how sloppy it was, and the fans was booing the matches, it's like, that's how the show loses quality. That's why on Raw, you know, you see the ratings drop. Like, pretty much after that first hour, it's like nothing. Where they're gonna go with this, considering everything that happened, of course, I thought they was gonna do a triple threat match with Brock, Strowman, and Roman. They still might do that at some point. But of course, they're going with the Shield versus Braun, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. I don't even think I'm interested in that match. Of course, you know, tomorrow night on Raw, which will be Monday, as you probably hearing this, they're gonna talk more in depth about it. They're gonna have a bunch of recaps. SmackDown's gonna be pretty interesting to see what Samoa Joe does now that he falsely felt like he won the match, and technically he did. Also, oh yeah, I forgot, during the doggone Hell in a Cell match, you notice, I think Braun, he won the match. Mick Foley counted to 3. You could clearly hear Mick Foley count to 3 in that match. When the first big pinfall of that match, Mick Foley clearly counted to 3. You could hear it because Braun hit a choke slam on Roman, and I was like, even announcers called him out on it. Mick Foley should not have been the referee for this match. He didn't add anything to that Hell in a Cell match. So never, no, don't ever do that again, WWE. Don't. I mean, I love Mick Foley, but you didn't have anything for him to do. Then he messed up the pinfall. Basically, Braun should be the Universal Champion because I clearly heard a 1, 2, 3 when Mick Foley first counted that after that choke slam. Y'all go back and listen to it if the WWE Network. You'll see it. I didn't. Me and my dad, we watched these pay-per-views together, and we both heard that. And it's like, and then they tried to cover it up. I was like, man, get out of here with that crap. Anyways. But let me know what you guys thoughts are on this little real talk review of WWE Hell in a Cell 2018. Let me know your favorite Hell in a Cell moments or matches in the comment section below. We can continue the conversation. We can talk about the old school stuff because everybody loves that. I don't know when I'm gonna. Of course, I'll probably do the review on the Australia show because hey, why not? But yeah, we've reached the 30-minute mark. But hey, this probably help you get through your day. You never know. But thank you guys for listening, for subscribing to the channel. I got some cool videos coming this week. Maybe with Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm scared to upload that. You'll see though, whatever it is. But y'all have a blissful day or night or whenever you hear this, and be safe till next time. Cheerios.